to the 100k Sunday roast for round 2. Back with me, as always, Darcy Ballard. Dove, how are you, brother?
Jev, it has been a very enjoyable week to obviously sit down, knowing that you're 2-0, you've had the bye, put the feet up, rest the body, and just watch the other teams go at it, Jev. Have a little bit of a look at the competition, not have to worry too much about where your team's at. And it's been a very interesting round. A lot of people said there was going to be a lot of shit games on, apart from pretty much Thursday and Friday night. I've really enjoyed a lot of the other games. And I think we've learned a lot about a lot of the other teams and how real close this competition is. So can't wait to get into it. Also, had a bit of a video the other day, Jev. This could be a massive round for the small forwards. And boy, have the small forwards stepped up. And do I have some unbelievable markets for you for how much these guys paid? Because it has been, Jev, this could be something going forward, or maybe we look at the tools. But there's a reason why I think we should all be betting on small forwards. And we'll get to that a little bit later, Jev.
No, I love that. It's been a busy week for us. We did the 100k show on Tuesday. I know it doesn't come out till Thursday. We do that Tuesday. We were back on the Honest Beers pod on Wednesday, which is great. Love those blokes. Love being on that pod. And then Thursday, it's just been nonstop footy from then. So it's all been happening for us at 100k. We're getting ready to go to the gather round. We're absolutely pumped. You're getting ready to watch Charlie Curnow, Harry Mackay kick 15 between them against North Melbourne. It could get ugly on Good Friday footy after a bit of a break. That is going to be scary to watch. So it's been a busy, busy weekend and week.
Yeah, it has. And it's only going to get bigger and better as we go through. I love the Easter weekend, Jeb, how it's a little bit longer. You got the Friday game now, which is an Arvo game, a Friday night, but then we've got the Monday. So we might have to make it the Monday roast.
We've got
next week.
Yeah, we've got all the way. We've got Brisbane, Collingwood on Thursday, which is crazy. But let's get through this week. So Thursday night, all the way back to Thursday night, St Kilda beat the Pies by 15 points. Does Jamie Elliott kicked the first at 14-1. Talk to me about this game.
First thing I want to go over, Jev, obviously the Saints, as you said, won by 15 points. I just want to touch off on my first 3 takeaways from the Saints the previous week. Brad Hill, I said I needed more than 12 touches from you. You're one of the premier runners in the game, and then you're one of the veterans. Went out, had 19 disposals and a goal, so automatically that's a tick. Mitch Owens a week before only had 11 touches. He's a real impactful player. Need him to do a lot more. He had 22 disposals and 5 marks and was much more influential in the game that we all saw. And the third thing I said, Big Max needs to convert, which he did early. He didn't have the big bag that we all thought he might get, the 4, the 5, the 6, but he kicked the 3 straight, and I thought he brought it to ground. So automatically the 3 things that we asked to address, or that I wrote down, we ticked all the boxes, Jev, and then they got a really good victory. It was a great game, great win by the Saints. What did you see?
I was super impressed by the Saints, and I'm happy for them. You can see Ross Lyon's fingerprints and his genius all over the Saints. We said in the season preview that they probably have a bottom 2 midfield, like bottom 5 midfield. I don't rate their midfield, but their ball movement and their edges are that good that it sort of lets Jack Steele and Seb Ross and I know it wasn't Brad Crouch on the weekend, but their mids be just role players or systems in the cog sort of thing. And then guys like Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira, Rowan Marshall, they just cook. Max King's a star. They look like they can kick it. Angles. They got good runners. They got good players everywhere. Aiden Bonner looks like a good pickup. I was super impressed by the Saints. I have been getting hounded by Saints supporter that Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira has to be in the pyramid. Has to be in the pyramid. So I'm going to say to Saints fan right now, I'm going to give them one spot. They've got to choose whether it should be Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira or Rowan Marshall, who's arguably top 2 ruckman in the comp, if not number 1, or top 3. I'd say it's probably Marshall, Luke Jackson, Rowan Marshall right now. So I think there's probably one spot for the 2 of them, but I'm probably leaning Nasiah, and I think all hell will break loose if Wanganeen-Malira is in there, because he was very good on Thursday night. But I want to get to Collingwood, Das. I'm going to label myself as Australia's honesty broker.
All right.
I feel I'm the mayor of fair, you could say. I am the mayor of fair, Australia's honesty broker. I want to talk to the Collingwood supporters. I'm going to be fair. I'm going to be honest, and I think they're going to agree.
Okay.
What are Collingwood good at? Round 0, GWS. GWS had a better defense, a better offense, a better midfield, more talent, and better coached. Round 1 against the Swans had a better defense, a better offense, better midfield, more talent, and better coached. Thursday night against the Saints, out-coached, better defense, better offense, better midfield. I'm not going to say that, but they played better on Thursday night and more talent on the park. I want to know from Collingwood supporters what they're good at the moment, because they don't kick a big score anymore. They don't defend a big score anymore. They're getting pumped in the midfield, like pants in the midfield. They can't stop other teams' ball movement, and they're being figured out by other coaches. I just want to know what they're good at. I'm not ripping them to shreds. I'm not writing them off, all this stuff. I would love to write them off, and I'm not too many weeks away from saying they can't win the premiership, but I just don't think they're good at anything at the moment. There's not one thing that they can hang their hat on that they're doing better than the 3 teams they played in the first 3 weeks. So I'd like to know your opinion on that, Das.
Yeah, Jev, I tend to agree that they don't have a gameplay at the moment that seems to stand up. Obviously, when you look at who they've versed 3 pretty good sides that I had them all inside the top 8. So if you're going to lose, like I guess you want to lose to the better sides, but it's how they're losing. They've been absolutely dominated. We just discussed the other day how Nick Dacos, yes, he's been getting in the midfield a little bit more and getting more contested possession, but because he's having to do that, they're not being able to get him on the outside where he's so damaging. The last 2 years where he's been able to hit off the back of stoppages and contests and just go, and then he unloads guys like his brother. Like him and Nick always look for each other, Josh and Nick. And then because he's having to be inside and gets too many of those contested balls, you miss out on that. And I feel they're missing out on a layer for that rest of the game. But the 3 things that I really looked at, Jev, in this game, we have to put Ross the Boss at the top as the greatest coach to never win a flag.
Yeah, he's fucking good.
He squeezes every bit of juice from every single player. The ability to change as the game evolves, whether it's super defensive with Freo or whether he wants to decide to be the fittest team in the comp with the Saints. He knows exactly what he wants in the building, from players to coaches. You see he's got a lot of his old players back in the building, and you listen to his press conferences, Jev. When he speaks, you listen. What he said before the game, he's awesome. Like, we will now know whether we're the better side or not, or whether we've done the work. And then after, the way that he said that we picked them apart, we looked at the tape. It was incredible. Number 2, Jev. Collingwood have had far too much bathwater this offseason. Don't worry about back-to-back flags. Let's worry about back-to-back wins, Jev. Let's try and get 2 in a row. That's what we want to look at. And number 3, Jack Higgins and Liam Henry played the perfect duo small forward games. Jev, what is the best goal in the game that you can kick? Tell me.
Joe the Goose, Das.
Yes, out the back. Bang, quick running, go and get it. Higgins kicked 4 goals, Jev, and Liam Henry, they're going to be shuttered. They're going to miss him for the next 6 to 8 weeks, Jev. But some of his small forward craft was pure. He hit a contest going a million miles an hour on like a 50-degree angle at his laces, and then just hit blokes up. I think he had 14 and 2 goals as well. He was just incredible. But the reason why I think the small forwards, Jev, this could be the best time to get on them, because there's so much chaos in the middle. There's so many turnovers. And then when there is, it's all the small guys that are out the back. And we've seen this round, Papley that we'll go through. We got Higgins, Waitman, all these guys that are popping up and kicking goals. I don't think it's for no reason, Jev. So great time to get on small forwards. Great time to be a small forward. But Saints outplay them. Super impressive. They're my 3 takeaways.
Yeah, they were too good. They were too tough. And I know it is like, if I get a knock on the door from the FBI, Das, and you don't hear from me a couple of days because I'm in jail, it's because I've spoken badly about Nick Dacos. I know it's basically illegal to speak badly about Nick Dacos. I said it last year, but they won the flag. I had nothing to say. You could have ripped me to shreds. It is what it is. He's not tough enough. He doesn't like contact that much, does he? He's a fucking star. I've never seen anything like him. When I was sitting level 4 of the MCG against Swans, the way he moves and cuts, I've never seen anything like it. But when it comes to when you watch Bont or Tom Green, or I know Isaac Heaney's in a purple patch at the moment, or Pat Cripps, when they're in the middle of a contest, they're either tackling, they're putting their head over it, they're taking tackles, and they're breaking tackles, using their legs. I just think Kane Corn said he was timid, basically. He didn't want to say the word soft, said he was timid on Fireball Friday. I just reckon to be his best, he needs it being given to him, and he needs to be on the outside. And when he's a midfielder, you sort of said it before, when he's a midfielder and he's got to put his head over it to get it, pick it up, break tackles and explode. I don't know if it's his game. It's like he needs to go back to half-back or something. I don't know what they need to do, but if I'm arrested or someone knocks on the door and I'm arrested because I didn't say he's the greatest of all time, I can guarantee when it's pyramid week, he's no longer top of the pyramid, and no one is allowed to argue that. He's not the best player in the comp anymore. It's not even close. So he's not going to be top of the pyramid, and all the Collingwood supporters are going to cry. They're zipping 3. He's probably on 0 Brownlow votes. So, are we going to die or what's going to happen?
We'll
is the Instagram going to get deleted or is the pod deleted? Maybe. We'll see.
Do you have any odds for us for this game?
Yeah, give me some markets and I'll give you some odds.
Got Higgins for 4 goals.
So we saw a bloke in our David King apparently said it before the game, and then a guy in our Discord posted. So you got 19-1 for Higgins for 4, Das.
Jamie Elliott for 3.
Jamie Elliott for 3. 580, which is a nice multi-filler.
Reef McGuinness, if you're able to get him for 3 goals.
Reef McGuinness. Yeah, 11-1 for 3. That would have been nice.
That's good. And some touches. Nasai Wanganeen-Malira for 30, Jev.
Oh, God, he was good. He was $1.20, $5.80 for 30. That's the last time you'll ever get that. $1.25 for 20. It was one of the best bets in football. Now that's probably gone for good. That's $1.11 now.
All the other markets are pretty small. So, Jev, those would be your big ones in that game. So that's a good one. It's a good one to look at. Nasai Wanganeen-Malira. He was incredible. Also, Windhager, Jev, super explosive. Great to watch. Saints are in a good spot, but they're going to miss having Max King out and Henry out for a few weeks.
Yeah, flat for Max King. There wasn't much in it, but maybe he's going to call it. Liam Henry, very flat for. That was to do that Thursday night MCG. He introduced himself to all St Kilda fans. They would have been fucking pumped with that performance. Then he did it with did the hammy with a minute to go, I believe. So he is going to be flat as a biscuit.
But all onwards for the Saints. Next game, Jev. Adelaide and Geelong. So the Cats won by 19 points. Saligo kicked the first. He was paying $4.10, Jev, as a non-listed player.
Fuck off.
Can we get these players in here or give us 41-1 odds? So he kicked the first, Jev. The first quarter was incredible. It was 39-20 at the end of the first term. Real slingshot sort of football. What did you see?
Das, I nearly... How do I say this? Our YouTube and our comments on Instagram and stuff, I was nearly beheaded for saying the Crows might not make the finals this year because they don't have enough talent. They are, they're a competition A-grader short of going anywhere this year. They lack, imagine they had Bontempelli. Imagine they had fucking Chad Warner even. Imagine they had Clariola, who they tried to get. They would probably be 2-0, but they just lack so much midfield talent and they're just not good enough. And Dangerfield, he's done it twice in a row. I should have said this last. I think the Saints are great. I think they're a Bontempelli or a Petrarca short from winning a premiership. You know what I mean? I think they are great. They're probably going to win a final, but to say St Kilda are going to win a premiership, I think they're a genuine superstar away. Adelaide are the same. They are nowhere near going to win a premiership. Pat Dangerfield, he's done it twice in a row. He did to the Saints. He did it again. That is what an A-grade superstar looks like. When you need him, he kicks a goal. He breaks tackles. He bursts from stoppages. And then I look at I don't care if I'm too harsh on the Crows. They're just not good enough. They aren't good enough. Look, who were the best players on the ground? Jez, Hawkins, Danger, Tom Stewart. 4 absolute stars who are won big games over and over again. Yeah, I don't want to be an asshole to the Crows, but I hope they didn't lose their finals in preseason. I hope they didn't ruin their preseason and think they were a bit better than they are. They're the Ben Keys decision away from playing finals and all this stuff. They're just not good enough in my humble opinion. And I'll probably get tortured for this. And they'll probably go on a 10-game win streak. And I'll look like an idiot, but I'm not going to apologise for it. I reckon they're an A-grader short. What did you see about this game, Das?
Well, see, I'm looking at it from the other way. Obviously, they're missing the thrill seeker, Riley Thilthorpe. And he was obviously meant to be a real big part of their side, whether it was forward. But I actually think their midfield's going okay. Because I think, Jev, it might be the defense or them actually locking inside forward 50, because I got some stats here. I had a look. Against the Suns, they went even, 43-43 clearances. The Crows won the inside 50s, 54-51. Against Geelong, Adelaide won the clearances 47-38 and won the inside 50 66-53. So they're obviously winning. Matt Crouch's first 2 weeks, he's had 33-7 clearances and 37-9 clearances at 89% with 1 turnover. Rory Laird against the Suns had 30-10 tackles, 6 clearances. Against the Cats had 29-8 clearances, 7 tackles. And then Dawson had 26 and 500 metres gained against the Suns. And then on the weekend, he had 26, 12 tackles, 11 inside 50s, 769 metres gained. So obviously you've got Dawson that can move the footy. Laird and Crouch are a little bit more inside. They get their hands on it. I think that they're winning the clearances and inside 50 battles. So surely they're going okay at the Source, because I was like, what the fuck's going on? Because I had him to be a really good midfield at the start of this year. So I went to have a look. So I don't know if it's more of the forward play because they're getting it in there, or it's just their stoppage work doesn't look as flashy. That's why people don't rate him as much. Because when you look at this, like Matt Crouch, 37-9 clearances at 89% at 1 turnover. That's a fucking good inside-outside game as a midfield. So they're getting their hands on it. So maybe it is that point down forward where they're just not converting enough. I'm not sure. I've watched I watched most of the game, but I'm not sure. Are they getting scored on too easy? Because it seems like when I'm looking at this, I'm like, fuck, how are these guys winning?
I like this. This feels like old school Skip and Shannon. You watch the game and you see two totally different things. I just don't see what you're seeing. I think Matt Crouch is one of those blokes that gets a lot of it and doesn't do a whole lot with it. And yeah, you do need a guy that, like Neil and Tom Mitchell won Brownlows of just being around the ball and handing it to everyone. They butcher their inside 50. So maybe that's all it is. They've been murdering their inside 50s. They clean that up a bit. But it's just guys like...
Because 66-53 inside 50s in that game, you can't be kicking it to Tom Stewart that's having fucking, 10 intercept marks, could have been 15 and the car. That almost hanger was fucking incredible. Yes. Can you imagine? I couldn't get to that hip bone. How high did he get?
Yeah, he was up. He was flying. Oh, and it depends. Jeremy Cameron was missing some shots in the last quarter. They missed a couple of shots. It should have been more. Crows fans will say they missed some shots. It is what it is. I just don't think they're that good. I don't think they're playing finals. I called it before the season and I nearly got beheaded for it. I'm nervous about going to Adelaide Gather Round. I might not make it home. I've started the pod talking shit about Dacos and then talking shit about the Crows. We're about to go to Gather Round. I could be in trouble, Daz, but I just don't think they're that good. I'm sorry. I just don't think they're that good. I don't know. Like guys like Saligo, maybe it's been in a 2-team town and he gets told how good he is. He's got Tex on a lead, 10 metres out, chest out, kick it to him, and he has a pot shot from 55. Know your role, brother. Just give it to Tex. Oh, I don't know. I'll die on this hill. But let's talk about Tom Stewart.
Yeah.
Is he played the best 150 games, the first 150 games ever. 5 All-Australians out of, I think, is it 6 years or is it 7 years?
I think the one, he was a little bit injured as well.
Yeah, so I think it's 7 years, but it's since he's been just a full-time starter, he's made an All-Australian every year.
Actually, so I think was it the year that he smacked down Presser and missed 5 games or something? 5 or 6 games. Maybe probably. That was it.
5 All-Australians, a premiership, and he's just one of the most purest footballers I've ever watched. And then to have a performance like that, 10 intercept marks, I think he had 9 at halftime, and it was just a
pure domination.
It was just domination, absolute domination. And they had no answer for him. And then they had to tag him, and he's playing off halfback, and it's like, if you're going to tag me, you're wasting avenues to goal. His football brain and how athletic he is, how solid he is. He does not shirk contest. He loves contact. How good he is in the air. He's like that 6'3", probably the quickest bloke on the field, tough as fucking all fuck. Oh, he's such a star. He's like, for Geelong to find him in the local league, they must be just like, to find a gem like that. I don't know what year he came in. If you were to do the redraft, is he pick one out of that draft sort of thing? He's a fucking superstar.
We'll have to have a look at it. We'll see.
What 150 games. And to 150 games, I think Judd had a pretty good first 150 games. I think he had a Brownlow in there. I think did he win the premiership in 06 in his first 150?
Yeah.
He won a Norm Smith in 05. I think he had a pretty good 150, but just like...
it's the way he plays, he just puts a full stop on games.
Dominates
He's like, I'm
games.
stopping you.
No one would say not one person could say he isn't a good footballer out of all footy fans. You just don't know footy if you don't think he's a good player. So, yeah, he shits me when he plays the Swans. He's a star, especially that moment when they beat us in that elimination final. They put it up the other day where he kept tapping it along the wing in his first season. He was bumping blokes. Oh, fuck. Anyway, let's get some odds up. Do you have any markets or you want me to go through the game?
Yeah, no, I've got them written down. So these are the best ones. So Hawkins for 4 snags, Jev, paid $6. Chris Burgess, he was popping up. He almost kicked 3, missed one from the square, so he kicked 2 goals. That was $3.50, which I thought was a bit short. Matt Crouch for 37 touches. He obviously, for 35, the market that is $4.90. Tom Stewart for 25 touches was $2.18. Remember, he had a 40 disposal game last year, Jev, so we think that he might be another person that we look at, but this is a market. Grind Myers for 1 snag, $2.02.
Delicious.
Grind Myers for 2 snags.
8.
$6.26.
Yep.
For 3 snags, he was $26. And for 25 touches, he was $6.25. So if you had him for 3 and 25, I'm not sure if you got a calculator, $6.25 times 26, but that is a big night for Grind Myers.
Well,
he's a footballer.
Funny you say that. So I've got Higgins for 4 at 19-1, Myers for 3 at 26-1. I'm going to tell you what the small forwards multi paid at the end of the round because we've got Waitman for 6 to come. We've got Papley for 4 to come. We've got some performances. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure we both tipped the Cats to make the finals before the season. I definitely did. Did you have them in the finals?
I got them 5th.
Yeah,
I said, could be top 4.
I just knew they were good enough. I just knew it. You just knew if you didn't have them, you didn't know what you were like, what was to come. So pisses me off to us when we have Hawkins for 2 in the 100K multi last week and he looks old and I don't know what was going on. Then he kicks 4 and he looks so good this week. So happy for Tom, happy for the Cats. They are a good side. Tom Stewart's an absolute star. Let's get to the next game. North Freo. The Dockers win by 26 points. I don't have who kicked the first here. Do you have who kicked the first?
No.
I got it. First goal kicker was Paul Curtis. Did you see much of this game, Das?
I did, Jev. I pretty much watched the whole thing, and I actually ordered one in last night, and it rocked up today, Jev. Yeah. So I've actually bought the North Ball.
Yeah, hang on.
North Ball. So I've bought it because you can buy North Ball online.
Yeah.
So I've bought it, and it comes with an instruction manual.
Okay, here we go.
So I'm gonna read to you how North Ball works. So it says, North Ball is and will be the most exciting, daring, and effective brand of football ever seen.
Nice.
It makes all players look like superheroes and play well above their playing ability. Okay. The only side effect of North Ball is that it can only work for a half a footy. Ooh. So either get off to a good start or use it to storm home. The choice is yours. So that's how North Ball works, Jeff, because they use it in the first half and they were fucking lights out.
So I didn't see much of this game at all, but I was tracking the score. I was watching my local footy club. So they were up by 25 points or something. They were playing North Ball. You went early on the Insta and posted you'd seen enough.
Hey. No, I didn't. People were having a go on me. I'm gonna tell you what I wrote because people would message me saying I've gone the early crow. I said, did you even read it? I said, breaking news. North Ball might actually be a thing. ... Plenty of football left to be played. What are our thoughts on the first half? Yeah. It was just a breaking news just to get a bit of a news grab from people.
I did notice that, but it was funny all the comments saying, oh no, you've jinxed him. You've mozzed him. You've done it. You've gone the early crow.
But yeah, pretty much. At halftime, they looked incredible, Jev. But once the ball was bounced after halftime, we saw a different side. At one stage, Freo kicked 10 out of the next 11 goals. Ooh. But Freo's best were Freo's best. Like, they were unbelievable. Sarong had 35. Luke Jackson had 24 and 2 goals. And Brayshaw had 27 and 1. All you need to do, Jev, go look at the highlights and watch Luke Jackson take over this game.
Yeah.
I know he said after the game that he loves when Sean Darcy's back in the side. I can't remember what he says his nickname is. Sprinkler. So he's got a funny nickname for him. He's like, we're a better side when he's in it. Talks a little bit slow, takes his time, Lukey Jackson. But he just took over that game. He looks so much better when he's playing more ruck because he gets to get to more contests.
I saw some highlights. I watched Sunday Footy Show. That was domination what he did in that second half.
That's
absolute domination. That's why you can argue he's a top 3 ruckman in the comp. like top 2 even. It depends who you rate and how you rate it. But a game like that was just domination. Caleb Sarong, he is on pyramid watch. He is, imagine starting the season with 46-35. That's just got something to say about North. So, like, they've trained offensive football and it looks so good. Harry Sheasel's a star. We know McKirch is going to be good. Wardlaw, LDU's like a top liner. We love Larky. We love Zerha. We like all this stuff. I just want to know, and this is Australia's honesty broker and the Mayor of Fair, how they think they're going to win a premiership without a key back and when they think that premiership's coming. So say they draft the best key back in the draft with pick 3 this year. What year is he good enough to be a premiership centre-half back? Like Wiedering. So Wiedering was probably good enough last year, maybe the year before. He's been in the system for what? Does it nearly be 10 years? 7 years?
Oh, probably 8. I think him and
Harris Andrews he's probably been in the system for 6 years, 7 years. How many key backs are 18, 19 and are good enough to be the centre-half back or the full back of a premiership side? So if North draft one this year in the 2024 draft, when's he going to be ready to be what Jacob Wiedering, what Jeremy McGovern was in 2018 and stuff, what Harris Andrews is now? When's he going to be ready to do that? What, 2028? 4 years of just constant football, getting goals kicked on him, learning his lesson, all that stuff. Like, as good as North ball's going to be, the other team gets the ball eventually to us and they're going to kick goals. And I want to know what their plan at key back, because it's all about premierships. So Clarko's obviously like, this is how we're going to move the ball to win a premiership. It's all you care about. You go, it doesn't matter if we lose by 100 points every week for the rest of the year. It's all about what we're going to do and who's going to be playing when we win the premiership. McKircher, Sheasel, LDU, Wardlaw are going to be premiership players for North Melbourne. But who's going to be the key back and when's he getting drafted and when is he going to be good enough?
What my thing on that is, because I'm pretty sure they've still got 5 first-round draft picks in the next two years.
Yep.
5 first-rounders. Ship one of them out because a lot of teams are going to want some picks now that Tassie are coming in.
Yep.
So I think they're real happy with their midfield, and I still stand on that. I think we can be looking back in this midfield in another 2-3 years' time being like, they have hit the jackpot with all these picks. Their forwards they can sort out, but you win defense. You win premierships with defense. So they've still got a fuck ton of picks. Yeah. And people still like Clarko. And I think if the vision's there, the pitch is right, they can ship out 2 of those, someone come in. So I think that's where they're going to get their experience from. But I just want to give a shout. Sheasel looks like he's put on 8 kilos, had 35 touches. He's a gun. Tom Powell has had a great 2 weeks. He had 28 and 2 on the weekend at 86%. LDU just did his thing, 30 touches, 9 clearances. But George Wardlaw, 23 touches and a goal, but he's a beast, Jev. You watch Libber and Rao today, the way that he attacks the footy and these contests, he wants to bury blokes. In the first half, Clarko went out there and said, I don't care if you guys cop a fine, take people's heads off. They were. They were fucking, all of them were flying. Aiden Core almost got 10 weeks just for trying to run through someone. But I just think they're like, hey, cop the fines, boys. We're gonna show that we're tough enough. Stop being
the laughing. Stop being disrespected. Have a bit of an edge about the way you play footy. We'll get to that again a bit later. But no, I'm happy for them. I think they've got the fucking midfielders. They've got the forward line. They've got the ball movement. They've got Clarko's fingerprints all over them. I cannot see a premiership without an A grade key back. Like, let's look at last year's the final 4. Darcy Moore wins the premiership. He had an all-time season last year. Harris Andrews gets tagged grand final day. Jacob Wiedering was unbelievable last year and throughout the final series. And Sam Taylor is arguably probably my number 1 in the comp. Like, key backs are the reason you get deep. Deep. And then the Giants have Jack Buckley as well. Like, Collingwood missed Nathan Murphy. The Blues, I'm not going to talk about Lewis Young, but So you tell me who's going to be that for North Melbourne and when he's getting drafted and when he's going to be ready to be playing prelim final on a Jeremy Cameron. Or it won't be Jeremy Cameron, but on a Jamari Ugle-Hagan who's 27 years old, he's kicked 300 career goals and he's fucking ready to explode sort of thing. Like, he's had a season where he's kicked 80 goals for the year. So I don't want to be an arsehole to the North fans. I'm happy for them, but I just don't know when it's happening.
Yeah, Mira fair. I don't mind it. Do you have any odds for this game?
Yeah, so I just looked. So we could get Caleb Sarong, 35 touches, $3.45. We could get Harry Sheasel at $4.80. Let's have a look at some goals.
So we had Paul Curtis too. There's not too many.
Paul Curtis kicked the first. He was 14 to 1, 21 to 1, I'm saying. Paul Curtis kicked 2, did he?
Yeah.
Where's that? $4.10. That's pretty nice. He looks like he's a deep forward for them. Larky only kicked 1, which was disappointing. What about Luke Jackson for 2? Luke Jackson, where's he? $4.10 as well. So you could have made some nice multis. Is there any small forwards in this game that kicked a couple?
There's Frederick that kicked 2, but he's not really on my radar.
Really small. No, that's all right. That's all right. We'll get back to Tom Powell kicked 2 and had 28.
Yeah, he's a midfielder.
Well, yeah. What did he get for 25? You get $3.80 for 25, and for a goal, you get 14 to 1 for 2 Das, which would have been nice.
So if you're a Tom Powell family or friend member, you would have made some money on the weekend.
Could have made some money. Right. Let's move on to the next game. Melbourne beat the Hawks handily by 55 points. I'm about to look up who kicked the first, but I saw bits and pieces of this game. I saw enough of it, but I'd love to hear what you saw.
Yeah, so it started at the source, Jev. It started in the middle. So for the game, 35 to 23 clearances, 5 goals, 3 to 1 point at quarter time. There's your game. Cozzy Pickett early was enormous. Had 8 touches, 3 goals in the first half.
He kicked the first ass at 12 to 1, yeah.
Clary had 7 touches in the first quarter. Viney had 7 touches in the first quarter. Petrarca had 10 touches in the first quarter. They could not stop him from the midfield. Same as last week in the last quarter, Jev. Once Essendon got the whips cracking from the centre, they couldn't get it going. And I just love how fucking tough the Ds are when they're hunting the ball. And the Hawks were never a scare after that, as well as the Hawks' inability to score once they went forward. They just kept kicking points. So like I said, from the start when they went really hard, and then at the end, like they couldn't stop momentum. Fridge kicked 3 goals, I think, in a minute and finished the game with 5 majors. Look, they need to do the work at training, obviously, to work on the goal kicking, but a real big tick to Melbourne to still get the win, and you have May and Lever leave the game with a combined total of 8 touches. So the depth's there. They went through. They played really well, but it was done in the first quarter, Jev. That was the ball game.
Das, what did Hawthorn do in the preseason? I don't know what they did. And the old saying, you can't win a premiership in preseason, but you can lose one. I know Hawks weren't talking premierships and stuff, but I don't know what the fuck the plan was in the preseason. That sideways chip and shit and that kick mark going sideways crap hasn't worked since Richmond kicked it out of the league in 2017. It hasn't worked for 7 years, and they think they're going to rock up and play that sort of game. They kicked 5 goals for the game. 5 fucking goals for the game. And if I hear one Hawthorn supporter ask where James Sicily is on the pyramid, after he had 11 touches last week and then Bailey Fritsch kicked 5 on him this week, all 5 on James Sicily's head. Sicily thinks they've kicked 5 goals a day. He can play loose and let Fritsch run around, a professional forward. All 5 on his head. So he's had 11 touches week 1 and then had 5 kicked on him week 2. Bailey Fritsch, 5 goals 1. Hawthorn, 5 goals 8. And all of them on Sicily. So I don't want to hear any. If I see one comment about Sicily, show them this clip. But I don't know what the Hawks did in preseason, but they are fucking horrible right now. They are deplorable. And it's not just Will Day. You can't blame, we're getting Will Day back. It's more than that. The game plan is shithouse. It is 2016 game plan. I know Sam Mitchell was there when they were winning premiership, but it's not going to work.
Yeah, Jev, 100%. They definitely need to improve on a lot of things. I know they reckon they lost some personnel, but so is every team. So my 3 big takeaways from this, Jev, is the Hawks need to tighten up a touch on defense. That's number 1. They just tighten up a touch. Number 2, you let the Demons win the clearance battle. They win the game. They beat the Dogs. They beat, obviously, Hawks, as I did mention, 35 to 23, but they lost to you guys, Jev. They lost 45 to 34. That's where it's won and lost for the Demons. We've seen that over 3 weeks now. My 3rd takeaway, let's get rid of these fucking yellow footies, Jev. I'm sick of watching afternoon, daytime football with a yellow onion.
Love this.
Give us the red footy. If I ask 98% of the population, what colour's a footy?
Red.
Red.
Always has been, always will be.
Why are we playing with yellow ones?
What's the yellow crap?
You've got lights. The
Let the
TVs
boys
can
play.
see it. And people's like, oh, you can see it better. So in local footy, do they ever use yellow footies?
No.
Red. I
Red.
don't care. Don't give me because they start at 2:30. Red footballs, Jeff. That's what I want to see.
I'll tell you who isn't lacking confidence at all, Das. Your man, the Fizz Watson. So he kicked 3 points. He kicks a goal to put him, 55 points down or something. He's doing these ones. He's doing these ones to the crowd. Oh, you got to have a bit of – you got to read the room, brother. I know you're 18. I know you're a small forward. You got to have confidence. You can't have 1 goal, 6, be down by 55 goals and be doing these ones and these ones. Fucking hell. It's like he's Mbappe and he just won the World Cup for fuck's sake.
Can you imagine He's dreamt of this moment his whole life, Jeff. There's a lot of pressure. He's missed a few. He just let it out. He just kicked a goal. It's what came to him. He's just, thank God.
I'll tell you what I loved us. Petrarca, 3 Brownlow votes. He is on the board. Here he goes. It was a performance. He's centre forward and this is the reason I tipped him to win the Brown. Well, sort of tipped him to win the Brown. I had him on the radar. I tipped Tom Green as my final pick, but I've got a lot of futures riding to Petrarca. See his interview with David King after the game.
Awesome.
How he's just having a laugh with Kingy. And he's like, it's the best job in the world. He's like, it's the best job in the world. Like, I just love it out here. I love being out. I love being around the boys. Oh, I kicking goals, all this. He realizes what guys like you and me who are 30 and have been tradies will never ever play AFL. He realizes how good his job is and he does the work. He eats right. He does all the work outside of the club. He does all that stretching. He's my favorite follow on Instagram. And then he performs like that and he's like, it's all because he's done the work. He trusts the work he's done. He's improved his kicking even more. He's a beautiful kick. His leg was lethal on the weekend. So see Petrarca, 3 votes. His season's going to get rolling now. Das, we said all in the previews that a good team is going to miss the 8. I tipped the Blues to miss the 8. I'm probably going to be wrong. You tipped the D's to miss the 8. Do you reckon you're going to be wrong on this one?
Well, at the moment, they beat the Dogs that we're not sure of. They lost to you guys, which is a top 8 side. Not sure if the Dogs are, and they beat the Hawks. So small sample size.
I'm glad you stand on the take because it looks like it's going to be the Pies right now, and I would love to. So I'm trying to figure out the perfect week to write off the Pies for good, but I can't figure it out yet. I'm not going to write them off yet. That's for another time.
Take a little bit longer.
Let's get some odds up. I've got the match right here. Pick your own goal. Let's start with, is there any Hawks goal kickers?
Yeah, well, I know the Wiz was only short for $1.86. I also got the little odds boost, Jev, for $7.75 for 2 goals, and he couldn't convert, so I would have made a lot of money. Fridge for 5 goals, Jev.
Fridge for 5, 14-1. Would have been nice. Cozzy for 3.
Yeah, I had him as well in my small man market.
Cozzy for 3, $3.90.
Mm-hmm. Chandler for 2.
Your man, the Chin, $3. Petrarca kicks one like he always does for $1.30.
It's like $1.30. Yep.
Jack Billings kicks another. He's looking like. Have you noticed? Tell what I really like about Jack Billings. He's obviously got talent. He paid $1.90, but he looks like he's also Caleb Windsor's mentor. I saw about 5 different times. He at quarter time breaks, he'd get Caleb Windsor aside, and he was pumping him up, and he's like, "Yes," or like, "Just do this little fix of yourself." So Jack Billings, super classy, runs effortlessly, and nice kick. He probably sees sees himself in Caleb Windsor, and he's like, "These are the mistakes I made when I was young, and a pick 3 and all this stuff. Let's get you right." So if Jack Billings is taking Caleb Windsor under his wing, all credit to him. I'll be fucking happy for him.
I'm interested to see how the next few weeks play out for both teams, Jeff. It's going to be interesting. All right, next game. I have barely written anything down for this, just a couple of little takeaway points because we all know what time it is. It was marked down on the calendar, Jev. It was time to get comfortable, sit down, put your feet up, and watch the arse whooping. Swans versus Bombers, Jev. What do you have?
Das, it was the annual. We spoke about it all week. You never had to worry in the slightest. It was Swans beat Bombers week. It happens every year. You can set your watch to it. It's like your primary school fate. It's like Easter. Once a year, the Swans beat the Bombers, and it happened as usual. Das, we're fucking sharp. We are really fucking sharp. there was some ball movement from the back line. So I heard a thing in preseason that we actually had a stopwatch on when we won the ball back in that back line, how quick we can get a shot on goal. And the coach would set a stopwatch and be like, yes. And there must be a time. It must be 20 seconds or something, because after 20 seconds, defenses can get back and set and all this stuff. And there was a couple of slingshots from the back line that is like, wowie, like that was sharp. There's a couple of things I want to say. Fuck, I don't remember. But I was impressed by Essendon. I'll go Essendon for a sec. They were really good. Really, really good. Zach Merrill was really good. This Essendon edge thing that was in the media all week, I actually rate it. They've got to stand for something, the Bombers. They've got to fucking stand for something, right? So, because they've been weak as piss. So I can see Brad Scott's fingerprints all over their game plan. I reckon they've lifted their standards, but it's fucking hard. So the Swans, I can't remember what the exact number was, but the red zone goals we kicked against them every quarter is the reason we won the game.
It was 72 to 21 in red zone
time. So this is the problem with Essendon. It's not the worst problem, but so like you can clearly tell they're not ready to win the premiership yet, but they've got the first part of their culture change and their game plan right over preseason. So now they're going to go this year. They're going to be tough, and they might lose games because they don't know how to play every minute of every quarter. So next preseason, they'll get a little fitter, little stronger, and the game plan, the bones of the game plan will still be there. They'll tweak it, and they'll get better again, and they'll take steps forward where they're going to be able to play every minute of the clock and all this stuff. So I liked what I saw from Essendon, because they've been shit forever. They were tough, and they played with that Essendon edge. Yes, they were tough at the ball. They did a few off-the-ball things. I'm not going to comment on much of that stuff. Well, I can, but I thought they were fine. The Ben Mackay thing, he's in trouble, Darcy. He's in trouble. You go, how many weeks do you think he's going to get?
Oh, the big 7-seater, you mean?
The big 7-seater, arse eater, chicken fajita, Peter.
Well, I may as well just get to my little takeaways, Jeff. So, number one, the 2-meter, 7-seater, arse eat mojito, Peter Wright, better load up on the exchange, Jeff, because you will never get a better price than this. $1 Australian will get you 10,304 rupiah, which is fantastic.
That's great.
It was 9,000 when I was there. So, that was the first one. Number two, Isaac Heaney's good at the football. Play him around the ball. That's where he needs to be playing, because when he's there, magic happens. And you know what the best bit is? When he does change, he's a natural forward. You remember that goal that he kicked? He just floated down there, found space, got it, went back, converted. So this has been awesome to watch. It's spelled with Warner as well. Also, I was going to have a little segment, but I wasn't going to, because I would do it. Or it's hard to play AFL, Jeff, I can imagine. But Elijah Sardis, he'd want that back. Just one with Warner last quarter. Warner ran through. But the number one takeaway, as I mentioned before, could be the greatest time to be a small forward, Jeff, with it being so chaotic in turnovers. Tom Papley, the highest rated player on the ground, he's playing as a one-out forward when you guys have McLean, Logan, and Amati. And he can just play one out of the cube and just run around like a peacock. And they were all from set shots, Jeff. 4 goals, 24 disposals. He's a fucking freak.
He was getting tagged by Nick Hind, and he gave him a good old-fashioned bath. Righto, Das, on the mayor affair, let me fairly give Ben Mackay his weeks, right? This is the fairest way we're going to do it. Hey?
Peter Wright?
Peter Wright, sorry, not Ben Mackay. Ben Mackay should get some weeks for the bath we gave him. But no, let's fairly give Peter Wright his weeks, right? So next week is round 3.
Okay.
Harry Cunningham will not be playing next Sunday at the MCG against the Tigers. Either should Peter Wright. One week. Week after's gather round. Harry Cunningham probably won't play that week either. So Peter Wright shouldn't be playing if Harry Cunningham's not playing. 2 weeks. Then the Swans have a bye, so we won't see Cunningham again. There's 3 weeks. Then that gets to round 6. If Peter Wright plays the same week as Harry Cunningham comes back to footy, round 6, I suppose it's fair, but maybe Harry Cunningham should come back and play again. Then Peter Wright should come back. So it's either 4, he comes back round 6, or it's 5, he comes back round 7. I think that's fair. I think we should not see Peter Wright play before Harry Cunningham plays. And it's as simple as that. He made his choice to turn his shoulder and he chose his safety over Harry Cunningham's. So I think that should be fair. We should not see Peter Wright play before Cunningham plays.
I just think if you jump, you hit the head, it's weeks. That's why I thought Maynard was going to get weeks. It doesn't matter whether, like, if you decide to, I know it's hard, you hit the head. That's what I thought they're trying to go with. So even though he's pretty much eyes with footy for most of the time, he happened to hit his head. So, and that's what they don't want you. They want you to be more cautious running, looking at the player. So if you have to, you can stop. I know it's hard, but he's getting a few. I think he got sent straight to the tribunal, so that means 4+ at least. So.
Is there a hotter 3 players in the league right now than Errol Goulden, Chad Warren, and Isaac Heaney as a midfield collection with Brodie Grundy? Is there a hotter midfield in the comp right now?
They're sexy.
So I had a multi last night, Das. Isaac Heaney for 25 and 1, Errol Goulden for 25 and 1, Chad Warner for 25 and 1.
They all hit?
Imagine having that multi. That's your starting mid. Errol Goulden had 24 and 2. Isaac Heaney had 32 and 1, and Chad Warner had 28 and 2.
What'd that pay? What was it going to pay?
10 to 1. It was only 10 to 1.
That's good.
But that's how good they're going. You're starting 3 midfielders for 25 and 1, all 3 of them, and it basically hit. Instead, I wish Errol had one more kick, and he got pinned holding the ball with about 10 seconds to go. He couldn't possess it. That is how good they're going. Is Isaac Heaney on 9 Brownlow votes?
Yeah, he would be, Jev. I can give you a very early update. For those that are your first time listening, we have all the markets here. So he was 251 to 1 before the season started. He's now, he's gone back out a couple of dollars. No, he's into $10.
He should be.
He's into $10. He's 1, 2, 3, 4, 6th favorite, equal 5th.
So
equal 2nd, 3rd.
When it's King's birthday, should they shut down the streets and should there be a parade for your old mate Jevy, your humble old mate Jevy, as the most right man in Australian history about Isaac Heaney? So when I first started the pyramid in 2022, I had him in the top 3 tiers, top 5 players, and I used to cop it from pillar to post. But as a Swan supporter, I saw the fucking talent. I knew how good he was. He was just getting shut down as a forward, and as a forward, you can only be as good as your midfield delivery, right? Has a bit of a down year last year. Plays in the 2022 grand final. Has a bit of a shocker. Has a down year in 2023. All Australian 23 and 2. People saying he's fell off a cliff. We should look to trade him. Some of these comments coming out about Isaac Heaney, he was probably banged up. It's hard to play in a grand final and back it up. We're watching Collingwood and Brisbane right now. And now he's come out and he's arguably the best footballer in the whole competition. He's fucking clean. He's tough. He's in the prime of his career. He's athletic. He's as good as anyone as a midfielder, and he's as good as any forward in the game. He's playing football out of this world, and I'm not going to apologise about it. And there's a pyramid coming out this week, and I just got to decide where the fuck to put him, because this first 3 games has been some of the best football I've seen a 3-game stretch ever. So, yeah, take that.
Clip that, and we'll get him to sign it. He's a 100K athlete as well. He does love the pod. We sent him a hat. Not sure if he wears it, but that's fine.
I'm nervous for the Swans when I'm front row of Mount Barker Oval at Gather Round when we're beating West Coast by 100 points, and I'm offering hand jobs with their Gatorades or something. I am going to be full nuff front row of that game. I cannot wait to be there. So up the buds. We are looking sharp. I'll be there next Sunday against the Tigers. We are on. Is there a better left footer? Is there a better kick than Errol Goulden in the game? I want to give a shout out to Zach Merritt. He was fucking sensational. He was absolutely sensational. He had the first 3 kicks of the whole game that turned to 2 goals. Then he got tagged, and then he was running like there's a premiership on the line in the fourth quarter when they're down by 7 goals. And he was so inspiring for the Bombers. His standards looks like it's 2, 3, 4 preseasons above the rest of the Bombers. And he looks like it's like, come with me, boys. This is how you have to play. Sort of like we see Bont sometimes, sort of like we saw Ablett at Gold Coast. I'm not saying he's Ablett or Bont, but what he did last night was like, I am so far ahead of the rest of this club. So I'm not ripping the Bombers. I thought they were fine. I thought they were really good. There's steps to take, and they might be able to slip into the 8. But, yeah, the Swans are fucking sharp, and they gave him a bit of a lesson. And Bombers will like that loss because they'll go and watch what they did wrong when the clock's ticking down and there's still 3 minutes to go, 2 minutes to go in a quarter, and the Swans are still running and busting their ass and everything, and they're kicking goals late in clock, and it'll be a great review for the Bombers. That'll be a great review for the Bombers. And my favourite thing, I can keep going, Dust, but my favourite thing the people are saying right now, Petrarca said it, Ross Lyons said it, and Chad Warner, Errol Gordon, and Isaac Heaney basically said it, is trusting the work you've done. Remember Ross Lyons said, now we just got to trust the work we've done. Christian Petrarca said, I trust the work I've done. And then all Chad, Errol, and Heaney were like hurting at quarter time breaks, like full on, hands on head, like hyperventilating, like puffing. And it's just like, righto, we gear up, we go again, like hurting, but they've trusted how much running they've done in the preseason, and they just keep fucking going. And then it's still in the last quarter, they're running so hard. So they look premiership prelim hardened, the Swans. So I'm fucking up and about, as you can tell.
I can. Swans are a good side. Essendon.
We're going to do some quick ones. So Jade Gresham kicked the first at... Fuck, I've carried on for about fucking 23-1 would have been nice. Pick your own goal. Who kicked goals? Papley, you got 9-1 for 4. That would have been nice.
And that's that multi.
Warner, you got 295 for 2. Errol, you got 350 for 2. Heaney was just $1.23. Anyone else kick goals for the Swans?
Will Hayward.
How many?
3.
725. See, that's a good leg. He's a full-time forward. What about Jade Gresham? For 3, you would have got 23-1. That's going in the multi. Anyone else for the Bombers?
Nah, that's pretty much it. But some touches, Jev. Heaney for 32.
Heaney for 30. What a fucking player. $4.30.
That's fantastic. Merritt for 32 wouldn't be too much. Nick Martin for 30.
Nick Martin for $30. $4.25. Merritt was $2.10. So all in over 2. So yeah, good performance by the Swans. Good performance by the Bombers. I'd be happy if I was a Bomb supporter. We've dealt with where Peter Wright should play or how many weeks he should get. I think I was the mayor of fair. I think what I said is 100% fair. I'm not being a nuffy Swan supporter, so let's move on. All right,
so the next game. So Bulldogs versus the Suns. So the Dogs start strong and finish strong. Like the Hawks in Tassie, like the Suns in the Northern Territory, the Bulldogs are different at Mars Stadium, Jev. They just play it really well. The Dogs end up winning by 48. Cody Waitman kicked the first at 11.50. I'll tell you what, if you had him in individuals, I can't believe I left him out of mine. But he kicked the first at 11.50. There's your first tick. The Dogs kicked 9 goals, 1 to 2 goals, 2 in the first quarter. Similar to the Melbourne game. That was the ball game. The Suns weren't coming back for them. Although I do find myself, I really like to barrack for the Suns. I like watching them. Like, they're just a real likable team. But watching Limmer and Rao go head-to-head is like watching 2 of Leslie Chow's chickens in a cockfight in The Hangover.
After they've been fed cocaine and chicken.
Cocaine and chicken. And they're just going at it the whole game. It was very old school, Jev, just watching them 2 go at it. But, yeah, the cream rises to the top. And the best player, I'm really excited to see where this pyramid is because this bloke is always in the top 2 tiers, top 3 tiers. Marcus Bontempelli, 32-2, kicked some great goals late. They're just a fucking... I wasn't sure about them, but they got off to a really good start. Did you watch much of this? Aaron Norton could probably still go back against some other sides, but I was really impressed with Sam Darcy. He has to play more. Rory Lobb.
Lobb's done. Rory Lobb is the guy North Melbourne should try and get in the next off season and tell him he's playing key back for North Melbourne. He's done. It's Sam. Give the keys to Sam Darcy. He's going to be a star. He's going to be a star.
Do you know what David King calls Rory Lobb?
What?
9-1-1.
Hi.
9 disposals, 1 mark, 1 tackle. So I think that's his game every week.
I was going to say call in an emergency, but nah. Yeah, he is. I don't want to, we're trying to talk too much shit about players, but fuck, he's a twos player. What about Jack McRae's performance in the two? 47, 18 clearance or something. But I saw enough of this game where playing at Mars Stadium's like fucking prime Geelong playing it down at Cardinia Park. They are good down there. Bont is a fucking star. When Libba got told he's standing next to Rowell on each fucking stoppage, it was like a stiffy for all footy fans today. They were just two bulls, locking horns, no backward steps. Great stuff. And then Waitman just played out of his skin, took his opportunities. He was left foot snapping. He was right foot snapping. He was set shot goals. He was taking marks. He had a perfect small forwards game for six goals. What could I get for him for 6 stars?
I'll go through all the odds. I'll leave him last. But Bond for 2 was 390 if you like the Bond. So there's 2 goals. This pissed me off, Jeff. Sam Darcy kicked 2 goals. Couldn't even get him for 1.
You're kidding.
Let's get those markets up. Oscar Baker, Jeff, kicked 3 goals.
Yeah.
Couldn't even get him for 1. Let's get some markets up, sports. You've got the resource. Let's get it in. But I've been on the small forwards all week. I just didn't put him in because I wanted to double up on the Giants game. But for 3 goals, Cody Waitman, $4.10. For 4 goals, $10.50. For 5 goals, $26.
Don't say 71.
And for 6 goals, $91.
91 to 1. You are kidding me.
Did not have a sprinkle.
Oh, God. I hope someone watching this or anyone had a sprinkle of Waitman at 91 to 1. That is unbelievable. Wait till you hear the odds of this fucking small forwards multi.
But I can say, after putting out the video, we have had some messages being like, when Papley started kicking goals, like, oh, Pap's on. Geez, Cozzie's on. They're like,
blokes
geez,
like,
Waitman's on.
Cheers, boys. Got on this because of your small forward video. I was like, well, our pleasure. Keep your eyes out. The Suns were okay to us. They just didn't kick enough goals or didn't have enough avenue to go. Jed Walter looked okay. No, Jed Walter looked good. Like, he's an impressive specimen.
How explosive is he?
Yeah, Ben King, he laid a nice rundown tackle, but bit of a reality check for the Suns. Like, that's what happens when you come up against an experienced, tough midfield. On the AFL app, it says Tim English was the highest rated player in the game. 15 touches is all he had, no goals. So was he really dominant, hits to advantage and stuff?
Their rate, I don't fucking get their ratings. He's always like the top rated player in the AFL. I think like whether hit outs or like, nah, I'm not taking that. He took a couple of intercept marks, maybe because it's like based on his position, like they're not expecting him to get back behind the ball and take marks. I don't know, but Good to see the Dogs win. It's going to be a real competitive season, Jev, for all other sides. And, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Let's quickly get through Richmond and Port Adelaide. Who kicked the first in that game?
It was Tom Lynch, Jev, in the first minute or two. $9.75 for Big Lynchy. I just want to go through that the better team won on the day. Tigers had a really good fight back in the end of the third quarter. Liam Baker kicked 2 goals right before 3-quarter time. But the better team won on the day. Todd Marshall came out and ended up finishing with 4 majors. Finlayson 3. That's when they're at their best, Jev, when their big guys are rolling around.
Yep.
Dixon kicked 2 goals. Darcy Byrne-Jones has been up forward for about the last 18 months. Got on the end of 2 off his boot and then kicked another one.
Yep.
But I had this bloke for the Brownlow and he could well be on his way to 6 votes, Jev, in the first 2 games. Zach Butters was clearly the best on ground today.
Yep.
He was back to like that midfield patch where he had last year when he just kept getting the ball and when he kept getting it, he kept making the right decisions. Or if he didn't, he'd get it back and then he'd make the right decision again. He's such a beautiful inside kick when going inside forward 50 or there's congestion. He'll just pop it out the front of someone so they can get it. And he just opens them up. And he loves getting in the face of opposition and let them know if they're fucked up. He's tough as nails. I love Zach Butters and I want to know where he's going in your pyramid because he started the season. There's a few guys that could be on the 6 votes. I think that's how we need to read it. And he's right up there, Jev.
Yeah, he is. He's as tough as a goat's knee. He's unbelievable. He has got a good mix of football, just everything, class, toughness, picks it up off the ground, can kick a goal, can get it on the outside clean. He is a star. I'm so glad he's your Brownlow tip because he's going to be so good to follow all year. I reckon in the second quarter, Shai Bolton had a quarter out of this world. I reckon the Port backline were tackle inspectors, Das. Like ticket inspectors, there's tackle inspectors. They were just corralling. They were just like, they're so good offensive players. Houston and Burton and Farrell and stuff, they're such good players when Port's got the ball, but they were just corralling the Tigers, and when Tigers were running at them, they were sort of backtracking. They loved the ball, and I reckon they got a bit of a serve at halftime. They were tackle inspectors. They were drinking a bit of their own bathwater. Like, it's not West Coast anymore. Richmond, I know they're in football's no man's land, but they're not that bad. If you give them time and space, they're going to get it to Dusty. They're going to get it to Lynch. That Shy was on fire. They would have got a bit of a spray at halftime. They lifted their pressure. You saw in the Fox Footy pressure gauge after halftime, they cranked it up to around that 200 mark, and they started like coming forward and winning the ball back, and then they kicked 5-6 goals in a row, got back on the game. Richmond were really good. That is the best Richmond. Well, they were good last week against the Blues as well. Richmond were really good today. They Shy was great. Taranto was great. Baker was great. So I don't want to rip Richmond too much. They've got a game plan they're still working on. Like you saw GWS last year. I'm not saying Richmond and GWS, but they've still got some good players. Baker was inspirational. Shy out a quarter, out of this world in the second quarter. But you sort of knew Port Adelaide would just mature enough to just get the win. But you don't see GWS and the Swans having those lapses that Port did in the second quarter. So maybe they got a bit happy with themselves. I still probably think they're the third best team in the comp. I'm pretty happy with Port Adelaide. So,
the only thing is, you've got to look at that because they've played Richmond and West Coast. So you got to let's wait. I'm not out on them yet. I didn't have them making the finals. Still think they're a good side, but I can't wait to see when they match up against a couple of these better sides.
Especially a team that gives them a real hiding in the midfield, and he's getting a lot of inside 50s against them, peppering the inside 50, winning the contested ball, setting up the ground. So they're perfect. They've got Melbourne next week at Adelaide Oval. I know Zach Butters had an all-time game last year. This is the perfect game. And this is where, I wouldn't mind having a look at – I think Melbourne are the perfect matchup of Port, where they're going to be super tough in the midfield and they're going to get inside 50. So that is going to be a must-watch game next week, Das.
For sure. Some markets in this one, Jev. Todd Marshall for 4 goals. He was $6.25.
That's nice.
For 3 goals, Jeremy Finlayson was $3.45. Not too bad. This is an absolute cracker, Jev. Liam Baker for 3 goals at $34.
Wow. Is he counted as a small forward in our small forward multi?
Yeah, you may as well put him in.
All right.
$34. If you had him in there, if anyone had Liam Baker for 3 goals, I'd tell you what.
How good were his 2 goals in 20 seconds at 3/4 time? And he was super mature, smart, just went back and kicked them.
Yeah, he's a fucking gun. Darcy Byrne-Jones, Jev, for 3 snags. Where was he? He was at $12. And the disposals, Zach Butters for 34 touches. I don't think it's that much. $30. Oh, sorry, for 30 touches, $2.18. Rosie had 28 touches, Jev. That's just pretty stock standard for him, so $1.49. All the other touches are pretty low after that, I believe. What are you laughing at?
If you had a multi...
Oh, here we go.
Of Jack Higgins for 4, Brian Myers for 3, Fritsch for 5, Papley for 4, Gresham for 3, Waitman for 6, Liam Baker for 3. I know you're not going to have that multi, but if you had that multi, what do you reckon it would pay?
Oh, just tell me.
$4.4 billion to 1. 4.4 billion to 1. So without Baker, it was about 130 million. And then I times it by 34 again, and it went to 4.4 billion to 1. So there is a chance to make $4 billion off $1 this week, Das.
There is. Well, this is showing us, Jev, we could get close to 100K multi with just some goal kickers.
Yeah, for sure. I am following this guy on Twitter who does an anytime try scorer, won a game for every game. And he was on fire, and he had a $7,000 cash out that he took last night. And then the bloke didn't score. And then he's gone perfect today. So he was one off, I think it was $100,000, $150,000 for $50. So wow. Let's get on. We got to have a look at two goal kicker from both teams in every game. So 9 games on discount Thursday and Friday. So 7 games, 2 goals from each team. So it'll be a 14-leg multi for 2 goals. 100% it can hit.
Yeah, I knew this morning. I'm like, when
Waitman.
Waitman first came back in the side, I'm like, fuck, I should get on him. And he didn't. I had some money back in the account, and I saw he kicked 4 in the first. I'm like, fuck.
Righto. So it is currently, it's right now, it's the middle of the first quarter in GWS West Coast. You are off to actually live a life on Sunday night, going out for dinner, being social. I'm going to have a look at that game. I'm going to come back. I'm just going to do my own little report for the last fucking 5 minutes of this pod on that game. I'm going to go get on Tom Green watch because I can't wait to watch him. If he gets another 3 Brownlow votes, Das, it's getting hot in here.
And last little thing, I had Toby Green and Binga Daniels for 3, 4, and 5 goals. Both of them have registered a goal just the start of the second quarter. If Binga kicks 5, he's 71-1, Jev.
Oh, you'll like that. That's what is the quarter time score?
It is. It's just started the second quarter, 34-15. Toby Green kicked the first at about $9.
Tom Green watch?
Tom Green watch. Let's go.
All right, let's go. Good work, Das. Good Sunday roast. I will be back, and to finish this thing off, let's go. Just Jevy here. Just quickly touched on GWS West Coast. So the Giants are beaten by about 65 points. West Coast. I'll talk about West Coast quickly. They had 2 goals at 3/4 time. It was looking grim. I liked how positive they were. They didn't drop their heads, drop the bottom lip. They kept trying to play their game style. They kicked 2 goals in a minute in the fourth quarter and celebrated with each other, got around each other. Was really happy with the ball movement. The coaches were celebrating. So obviously they know it's tough. They got some experienced heads. Like Jeremy McGovern's had 26 touches. They got some experienced heads in the side. They've got some young guys that probably shouldn't be exposed to AFL footy right now. And they got some good midfielders. Elliot Yeo had a really good game. Tim Kelly had a really good game. So they just looked positive. Harley Reid's first touch at Optus Oval in front of the home crowd was awesome. If you haven't seen that, it's going to be on all the socials. Look it up. It is awesome. On the wing, breaks a tackle, sells some candy, gives some hands, bit of body, gets a free kick. That is awesome. So he's the future. Super excited for West Coast. Touch on GWS. They're an absolute wagon. We all know that. They were always going to beat West Coast by a lot. I just want to talk about Tom Green. I'm on Tom Green watch. So Kieran Briggs was really good. Lockie Whitfield had 36 touches. He was really good. Does Tom Green, our man, get the 3 Brownlow votes? 34 touches, 21 contested possessions, and 750 metres gained with the footy. Oh, he's good. So if anyone's listening or on YouTube or commenting, I know no one's listening by now, especially me on my own. I just want to know how many votes do I put on that board for Tom Green. I reckon I'm just going to give him a flat 2. Or do I give him 2.5? I don't even know. But he is in some serious form. It could be the greatest Brownlow tip before the season. 21-1, I got him. They're a wagon, GWS. They've got a bye now, and then they meet Gold Coast at Gathering. I will be at that game, hopefully watching Tom Green live. I don't have any odds for you because Das got the screenshots and he's out. So bit of a shit finish for the roast, but funny enough. So Giants are flying. West Coast, I just like their positivity. I like seeing Harley Reid play. Elliot Yeo looks fit. Tim Kelly looks fit. Jeremy McGovern looks fit. Jack Darling looks average, unfortunately. Jamie Cripps looks fit. The young guys can play. There's a couple of guys that probably shouldn't be, but yeah, good on them. Happy for West Coast. Happy for the Giants. Cheers. That's a Sunday roast for another week. See you next week. I reckon, I haven't told the boys yet this, Morgs might see this when he edits to the pod, but we usually start the multi on Saturdays. I reckon we start it on Friday next week and we build around Charlie Curnow 5. He's kicking 5. Das called before the season that he reckons he's going to kick 13. We were there last year. I think he kicked 5 goals, 4 for the day. And Mackay kicked 4 goals, 5 for the day. I say we start with the multi. Curnow 5, Mackay 3. Build it from there. Then maybe we do another one that starts Saturday onwards with a few more legs. Interest, see what you guys think. Cheers.